I've been a barber now for 4 years, and during these 4 years, I've been able to scale my business to 25K a month, retire my mum, make over $250,000 at the age of 21 with a following of over 1 million, 1.3 million across all platforms. During these 4 years, it's been a lot of trial and error, a lot of figuring it out by myself. So I made a list of the top 5 things I wish I knew in my first year of barbering. And the first one is focus on the quality, not the clipper. I remember when I first started, it's like when you get in, you're like, oh, the new tools are very cool. It's like a new dopamine rush every time you get a new clipper and you watch clipper reviews and you do all that. But them not realizing that people with the best clippers in the world, they don't even have the best cuts. I know like barbershop owners that have heaps of clippers, but their haircuts are still trash. Why? It's so important in the first years to set the foundations right. The foundation should be working on improving your service as best as you can. So when I say quality, I don't mean just the haircut quality. I mean the service quality. I mean your professionalism. I mean how you run your business, how you like to be portrayed in yourself towards your client, towards your work, towards a holistic side of business. Like when a client comes in, are you like, hey man, like how was the last haircut? Is there anything I could have done better? You know what I mean? Is there things that you wanted me to do this time that I didn't do last time? You know what I mean? Like being feedback orientated. Because when you become feedback orientated, your centric goal is focusing on how can I improve my service? Instead of focusing on the material, which is like the clippers, just know in the future, these clippers isn't gonna mean much. Right now, I get clippers sent to me weekly. New clippers coming in and they don't tick that box. It's like a rich person getting a cool car, having all the money in the world and keep buying the new things. What's going to truly fulfill you is making meaning out of your work, being passion orientated and being quality orientated towards your service, your work that you put out. So don't jack off about freaking clippers and tools. Try to spend a bit more time, even if it takes an hour 15, an hour 30. When I first started my barbering career, my appointment times were like an hour and 20 minutes because I just wanted to make sure I got the perfect cut. A barber that starts cutting hair in a barbershop and only has 30-minute slots, and a barber that starts with an hour and 30 minutes. Who's gonna become the better barber in the future? The other guy has limited standards. He's capped out at 30. You can't do a high quality haircut. Whereas a guy that's doing an hour and 30 minutes, yes, he's taking longer, but in the future, naturally you're gonna get faster. Naturally, I can smash out a quality in 45. But do you think the guy that's doing the 30-minute haircut, can he do, a 45-minute haircut and do it quality? He may think so, but in reality, the guy that has reps in mastering that 1% in the haircut is going to thrive. So focus on the quality. The next thing that leads me to my next point, once you start getting your quality up, you will start to realize that, okay, I need to start marketing my work. I need to get clients in the chair. I need to, some way bring eyes to my work. That's where you have to shift your mindset to becoming a businessman. You have to think social media is a tool. It's not your entertainment. The 80% of the world, they think social media as the entertainment. You scroll and you've been programmed for 8 to 12 years now that social media is something you react at, something that you see something funny. It's programmed you to think that when you open your phone, you're into cruise mode. Being a businessman, every time that social media comes up, you're into research mode. You're into observing mode. My first years, I didn't think like a creator. I was still wrapped in the dopamine. And that's the biggest problem with barbers in their first thing. Their first barrier is still something measly as scrolling on their phone. It's cliche, but once you switch that mindset to thinking social media is a tool, you'll be able to understand why certain pieces of content did well and why this worked and why this didn't work. You become more observative. It's the same thing with being present. If I'm present in this moment, I realize there's birds chirping outside. I can see this light right next to me. I can feel the warmth. I got the heater on. I'm observing. Whereas if I'm just in this room and I'm just like, oh yeah, thinking about the future, thinking about past, I'm not in the present. It's the same thing as being on social media. You have to be present and observative when you're scrolling. So switch that mindset. The next one is once you've slowly started posting, you've got your quality up, you feel like your haircuts are decent, you're getting to that level. You start coming in this price that, is this it? $50 a cut? 8, cuts a day, 12 cuts a day, doing this 5 days a week, each day, rinse and repeat. It starts to get mundane. It starts to get really, really lonely. So then you start to question, like, is barbering even the right path. And then you start doubting yourself, and then you start injecting these things in your head that I'm gonna switch careers, I'm gonna do something else. That's why so many barbers do other things and they get sidetracked from when in reality, this industry is so high potential. If you look at the success that people has in the world of barbering, from the last 2-3 years, people have been able to get out of that traditional like barber mindset and barber routine of just cutting like 50, going to $100 a cut, to $150 a cut. Me, I'm charging $250 a cut at the moment, making 25K. I'm 21. I've only been doing this for 4 years. People doubt this industry and they doubt and inject it into your brain, and then you start believing it. I'm here to tell you that this industry holds way more than you think. And how? It's by separating yourself from the 80%. Look, let me tell you something. With barbering, people can start being a barber easy. Maybe $500, you become a barber. Boom. And the problem with that is that it can be saturated. The more saturated the industry is, the more average people are. Think about a business degree. How many sheeps and how many consumers and just procrastinators go into that? And when there's more sheeps, that means those people are the one that's loudest. That 80% speaks to you, but then the 20%, it only takes a couple of steps for you to just separate yourself. If you just do something different and you just be yourself and just be authentic and just not copy what the sheeps are doing, you ultimately go into becoming the 20%. So just because all these guys are making average money, not excelling, doesn't mean that you can't do it. It's because they chose the comfortable life. They chose the average life. If you just simply understand that this industry is high potential, you'll be able to make 10K your first year, 15K your first year. And I say that with full conviction because I did it, right? I broke that traditional barrier system by setting up my own studio, by setting up my own social media. That's all you need, an attitude and a mindset that is willing to grow. That's all you need. Those two requirements, you have that, and you'll be able to succeed in the barbering industry and make real money faster than all these uni degrees, college degrees. The fourth thing, what stops you from, taking action and marketing yourself, getting yourself out there, is that your mentality of, I don't want attention. That's a coping mechanism. It's a coping mechanism for not wanting to do the uncomfortable stuff to market your work. You don't have to go straight away from being camera shy to straight away being on camera. Hey man, what's good? Today we're gonna be doing a job. No, you don't have to. You can take it step by step. Just understanding that you have to eventually get out of your shell of not wanting to record content. We live in a content economy, and this economy thrived off attention. The more reps you can get towards understanding how to get attention, you know how much valuable this information is? This can be applied to your day-to-day life. You're able to really understand what makes people do certain things, how to understand their desires and what people like to see. So it's more than just, recording content and putting it out there. It's how you can help people, how you can monetize, how you can make money, how you can help someone achieve their journey, how you can provide value to someone. And this is a broad thing. It all stems from getting comfortable with your voice, finding your voice. Each time you press record, you train that muscle of recording content. You train that comfortability of being on camera, speaking like this. I was never able to speak fluently like this, ever. I still working on that today. Just because you're at your chapter 1 doesn't mean that you compare yourself to someone's chapter 20 in speaking. Start your chapter in finding your voice. The last thing I wish I knew when I started in my first year as a barber, track your financials. Barbers are great barbers, but they're not great businessmen. And you simply just tracking your financials each week, how much you spent the whole week, all your business expenses, your personal expenses, your bill, your income from your cash to your transfers, to your cards, finding what your profit and loss for each week is. When you simply just track, you're able to be growth centric in the numbers of your wealth. Naturally, barbers have a lifestyle of quite hedonistic, drink, partying. You're in an environment where people are always spending. The more we make, the more you spend. And that is so true, especially for barbering. Tracking your financials will already put you in a mindset of being in long-term wealth, thinking about your future, thinking about wanting the numbers go up. And you start treating it like a game. Like your expenses, you're like, oh man, how much lower can I get this? How can I really just focus on what truly matters and just tunnel vision in and not spend money on drinking, clothes, spending money on all these things. You start to spending money on what really matters, spending money on books, spending money on programs, spending money on your investments to help you guys further. And because you've stayed this far, I put down in the description the exact financial tracker that I use on a weekly basis. Use that stayed, you get this gift. I'd rather have 1,000 true fans than 100,000 subscribers. That's why I make these videos, just for you watching right now. It's in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's always a blessing and really warmed my heart just sitting down and getting to speak with you guys. So may God put warmth and blessings in your life. See you guys in the next one.